We have invited our roundtable panel back to weigh in on some recent headlines and their impact on the African American community. We're going to look at the impeachment inquiry in Washington and President Trump's reaction to the Democrats' investigation, plus the controversy over facial recognition software. Police say it solves crimes, but critics say it misidentifies African Americans. And we're going to talk about former Dallas police officer Amber Geiger's conviction and sentence for murdering her unarmed black neighbor. But let's start with the impeachment probe. In Washington, President Trump has denounced the Democrats' investigation that was prompted by a whistleblower's complaint about his dealings with Ukraine. Let's bring in my roundtable guests. Kim Trent, Senior Vice President at Compass Strategies, Public Relations and Political Consultant Greg Bowens, Kerry Jackson, the urban conservative on Detroit's 910 AM Superstation, and political commentator and columnist Brandon Bryce. I'm going to start with this side of the aisle because I feel like y'all have a lot to answer for with regard to this president.
Good luck.
You know, there are a lot of Republicans who say, look, there's nothing to see here. Move along. Where do you guys stand?
So a couple of things. One, I think the conversation with the Ukraine president is damaging. The challenge is now, how is the Republican Senate going to react to it? Are they going to be concerned about their districts when they get back home? Or are they going to be focused on, well, if the president is by some chance reelected, am I aware, is that going to be a relationship that I can solve it? One of the challenges I think with impeachment that we're seeing now, there's a lot of people who, despite what has been said, his base is still saying we stand with the president.
Yeah. So, you know, black people get criticized all the time for standing by Democrats no matter what happens. I have never seen Democrats stick by somebody who's done the things that this president has done for 3 years, and now he's on the phone with a foreign leader saying, hey, interfere in our elections, please. What will it take for them to say that's enough?
It's not going to happen. They're still going to support him, and if you get them riled up enough, they will take themselves and all of their friends, and he'll get reelected.
You think so?
I think so. And the truth is that even though there might be over 30 Republican senators who secretly hope and pray that something happens to Donald Trump, they will never publicly vote to remove that man for office because they're scared. He fills arenas, whether he pays those people to fill the arenas or not. But the truth is, he still fills arenas. People stand in line for him, and there is still they foam at the mouth. They are that much in love with their president, and nothing you do. And nothing really, they could care less that he breaks the law. They could care less that he cusses, that he cheats on his wife. All they know is they'll tell you this, we've got a good economy, and that's all I care about.
So as somebody who identifies as a conservative, does this make you less likely to identify that way? At what point does Kerry Leon Jackson say, enough?
Kerry Leon Jackson gets called out by Trump supporters on a daily basis because I'm not a Trump supporter.
Right. But does it make you a Republican? Does it make you say, I'm not a Republican?
No, some of the things, the fact that my party has now been invaded by racists who feel like they have the ability to openly say whatever they want to, and that they think that they're going to drive blacks back 50 years ago, that's one of the things that makes me say I don't really want to go to the party. Yeah. I'm not going to go out and be an active part of the party. I'm not going to any of their events or anything. But the truth is, the foundational reasons that drove me to the party are still there, and I still believe that.
You know, Stephen, real quick, I think this is a time where the party, the GOP, has to really say, this may be the opportunity that we have to right the wrong and clean house.
Right.
I think one of the challenges you're having is, we've lost a whole lot of folks, specifically minorities and women.
Right.
But on the flip side of that, Trump, he's been able to, whether you like the guy or not, literally create a new base that did not vote in previous elections.
Yeah. All right, so
I never
you buying any of this? I'm not.
It's baloney. I never thought, pretty much my entire adult life, the Republican Party has been saying that they're going to try to be more of a big tent party, that they were going to be more inclusive, that they were going to be more embracive of different kinds of people. And then they elected Donald Trump. And then they let Donald Trump be Donald Trump.
America
and Donald
Trump.
But you're doubling down on Donald Trump. And you have senators who, like Lindsey Graham.
They're doubling
Go
down
back and
on
read
winning.
Lindsey Graham's thoughts on Donald Trump from 2016 and read what Lindsey Graham thinks about Donald
He's changed
Trump in
his
2000.
tone.
Yeah, he changed his tune because of
he
political
wants to win.
expediency.
Right. The
And
party
so,
cares more about winning than about whether or not.
But
he's
the
right, but
sacrifice-
that's what's happening. That seems to be contagious in your party these days.
And
so,
you know, the
well, your party
sacrifice-
doesn't win a lot, so we don't really have to worry about it being
Well,
contagious.
hold on.
one might argue that 3 million more votes in 2016
Republicans have
could
won
be seen.
two
Right.
elections, two popular presidential elections in the last 20 years.
Hello, somebody.
That's, I mean, and eventually that's
And
going
we
to catch
run
up,
the state
right?
legislature right here in Michigan.
Right.
But you know what's
Well,
interesting?
that's
is-
about
But, yeah,
gerrymandering.
you did not
So-
win.
yeah.
And what party is the governor? Thank you very much.
The
And
governor
Secretary of
can't
State-
get anything passed right now because she's
Right,
got
so
nothing to
Greg-
do with the Republican
So, Greg,
legislature.
I really want to know what you
Yeah.
think
Oh,
about,
after y'all got checkmated this week? Okay, I think.
And
Okay.
let's-
All right,
Okay.
hold on. Let's get Greg in here.
Yeah, right.
I'm just here for the ride.
He's just watching. He's just watching.
It's like being in a car with your friend.
What is it going to take for Republicans to say that's enough? And do they have a chance to maybe get more African American votes at some point by standing up to this idea of, you know, racist rhetoric and the
Yeah,
foolishness?
you know, fame. I'm just gonna say this: fame is a fickle lover. You know, that can hug you one day and smack you the next day. And when it comes to Donald Trump, who's built his entire public persona on fame through TV and the stuff he was doing in New York and all that stuff, it's going to, I think, turn on him. The one thing that I think is that we're not really sort of hitting on here is that Donald Trump has been sort of lording over the Republicans party and the Republicans in the Senate through fear and intimidation since the day he walked in the door. And for any senator that would get into his sights, you know, he would basically beat him up
Right.
as a public execution for everybody else. Well, should charges come about and actually make it to the Senate for a trial, now the individual senators are got like, okay, so you've been messing with me since day one, Trump.
Maybe it's your turn
Now
on the
I
barrel,
got now
right?
I got something on you.
They would have to
Now
actually
we
do
can
something
now.
publicly. It's never going to
Now,
happen.
but I'm just saying in terms of if
But
it
I
comes
don't know,
down
because if you
and-
look at the poll numbers, America is moving toward being very comfortable with saying goodbye. America is exhausted. And it's not just Democrats.
Right.
Independents are exhausted, and actually a lot of Republicans
A lot
are
of
exhausted.
Republicans are tired,
It's made-
too.
yeah,
But you know,
but they
and-
will
and-
still
sick of
go
this
with.
guy.
They
I think
want
when
to.
when you're seeing these huge coliseums with these people who are
half filled.
half filled. First of all, people are being paid. Second of all. Third of all, a lot of times people are buying tickets and not even showing up. So let's just be honest about what's
Yeah,
really happening.
so I think that
We got to
yeah.
go quickly to
No, I was
your
just
point
going
so
to
that we
say
can
I
go
think
on to the
that
next
we
subject.
may be surprised should the charges make it there, and I think even in the House, I'm not convinced that all of the Republicans in the House
think you're gonna see a lot of Republicans
are hanging
come
with
over.
Trump.
That's right.
And
once
remember
the facts come out.
who was the guy that Biden came here and campaigned for, the Republican congressman?
Fred Upton.
Yeah.
Fred Upton, right? Who voted for the investigation and all that stuff. Well, Fred Upton and Biden were tight.
Yeah.
And they were tight. So tight that he came here and campaigned for him, and we all got mad, you know, as Democrats.
So we'll see
your
what that-
boy gets
yeah.
your boy gets jammed up by the president.
Yeah.
Who's trying to like jam him up with the Ukraine?
We
what do you think is going to happen?
All right.
Right.
We would do this all day, but we got to get to some other topic.